We want you to understand something about the bond. Some basic information about our district. 1.2 million square feet maintained daily. There's not a building you can go in this school district that doesn't look great. 2,254 miles driven every day by our buses. That's daily. See the meals and the devices logged in? We are a technologically savvy school district. The graduation rate, $4 million in scholarships that were awarded to the class of 16. The STEM grant winner, and we have an excellent relationship with TSTC. Well, what are we preparing our students for? We have a Hawk Scholars program, and it allows our students to graduate from high school with an associate's degree. Think about that. Think of the savings that is to our parents in the district. Our Career and Technology program trains our students for high-paying jobs in the workforce. We're not taking away from the importance of a college education. In no way are we. But we are in step with reality and what's going on in the United States today, in the state of Texas today. Our Career and Technology program trains students for high-paying jobs, computer technicians, welders. We are preparing men and women for future jobs that are, in many cases, the backbone of our society. And ROTC, we have Navy ROTC here. We're preparing men and women for the military. We want to give all of our students the opportunity to be successful at something. Another way of saying this, there is not a cookie-cutter student that graduates from Red Oak ISD. You know, we've been talking about growth. I went back and checked of our graduation records. In 97-98, we had 222 graduates in our senior class. Moving forward 10 years to the 07-08 school year, we had 345 graduates. Now in the 16-17 school year, we have 443 active seniors. Again, we're talking about growth in Red Oak ISD. In the last 20 years, our senior class has just almost doubled in size. The Growth Management Committee was created. We had 51 members that attended regularly, and they spent over 1,250 hours poring over information. All the presentations were organized and posted for public viewing. Transparency was very important to everybody involved. People were welcome to come and hear what had to be said. And we had people from all walks of life. They were from the Red Oak community. We had every campus, along with the district's various geographical groups.
Right now, we're at about 5,800 students, with our building capacity at 6,466 as a functional capacity. In 5 years, they predict we'll be at 7,300, and in 10 years, almost 8,800 students. But we've never seen growth like we've seen before in Red Oak. Let's talk about the middle school a little bit. The middle school is currently at about 1,385. 1,381 is its maximum functional capacity. In 5 years, they predict the enrollment at our middle school, 6th through 8th grade, will be at 1,800. That's almost the size of our high school right now. In 10 years, you can see it's at 2,254. That's larger than our high school. The committee made a recommendation to build a new middle school on the west side of town. These are the number of platted single-family residential lots that we have from a viable source. In other words, the city of Red Oak, the city of Glen Heights, city of Ovilla, Pecan Hill. On the west side, there's 2,300 lots. On the east side, there's 1,200 lots. Right now, we have 5 active subdivisions in Red Oak. When's the last time you've had 5 active subdivisions going on in Red Oak ISD? The answer is never. One of the options for the Growth Management Committee was to look at the old facility at Live Oak and converting that to a new middle school. If you take a point right here in the middle of the front of the high school and go 3/4 of a mile as the crow flies, spoke off from that, in 10 years, 70% of our student population would be in this area. That was another one of the reasons that the Growth Management Committee said it may be wise to move this to the west. The high school is at 1,850 right now, in 5 years at 2,368, and in 10 years at 2,940. The high school's capacity in 2007 was built or designed at 2,400 students. Since 2007, we've changed the high school. We've added programs. ROTC took up 3 classrooms when we put it in the building. We've had to add special ed classrooms. We've changed our credit recovery type programs. We've added Hawk Scholars. All those programs require classroom space that we initially didn't have in that building. the committee realized it's time to have an expansion at the high school. We're going to pull the classrooms that are in the main building out. We're going to pull the rooms that are over at the Kate building right now. You realize that we transport about 500 kids a day over to the Kate building at the old high school. Transportation costs are about $200 a day to transport them, plus the loss of class time. Because yes, on a good day, it's 7-minute bus drive over there, 7-minute bus drive back. You got a 5-minute passing period. You guys start to do the math. This will open up classrooms inside the high school, plus pull all those programs back to the high school. An architect's conceptual plan is the students walk every day to pick the bus up right here, so about 20 more steps they can be in a building back here somewhere. Another addition to the bond is a practice field and a track. Right now you've got to realize that we have a big problem with practices for athletics. If it rains, do you know where the high school students go? They have to get on a bus or drive their cars. If they're the soccer girls early in the morning, they start over at the turf field at the stadium because there's not a place to go. On nights where there's a soccer game and they're trying to practice track, guess what happens when it's time for the soccer game? Track practice is ended because you know how many tracks we have in Red Oak ISD? 1. Goodloe Stadium. Have any of you been to Goodloe Stadium recently? One of the things is we need to become ADA compliant throughout the facility. If you've ever walked across in this area, you can travel from concrete to grass to asphalt in about a 30-yard stretch. It needs to be all one hardscape. The plans are to remove the existing field house on the north end, build new bathrooms, move the concession stand to one central area, and 2 locker rooms for the games. But then we would be able to take out the concession stand underneath the press box, put some family restrooms or something like that underneath there, and move all the flow to the end. The classroom revolution, as you are all aware of, takes us from traditional learning to more of a personalized learning environment. The bond has 3 major parts of this. The bond does not deal with all of it, but it does 3 parts. The first is the furniture. Okay, the furniture becomes much more mobile. It also develops a collaboration space where you have the writable surfaces on the walls, on the desk. And the last thing, of course, is the digital stuff, the technology. That it will add the short throw projectors, we'll add the laptops, the iPads to all the classrooms. Transportation. The Growth Committee figured out real quick we could get a 2-for-1 deal here. One of the things is if you've ever been to Friday night, there's no parking at the stadium. It's extremely limited. Just think about the day that we have the pep rally over there. There's no place to go. If we took the bus barn, right now the transportation area, many of you don't know it, but it's just gravel. There's no lights back there, it's just gravel. Our bus drivers get here at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 and it's dark. They're walking through the gravel to get out there. What we figured out is if we would pave this, we would extend the bus barn, now we can use this for overflow parking on Friday nights. Renovations and district maintenance, a new gym floor at Shupman. Exterior parking, lighting. One of the things you don't realize if you've never been to the back of the middle school on a non-football night, there's no lighting back there. It's a safety concern for sure. Safety and security was the last part of this. This spring, the city will be going to a new radio system. Our police officers will no longer have the ability to talk with the city, either the fire or the police, unless we upgrade our radio system.
This is the nuts and bolts of the bond initiative. That totals $74,083,048. That's what this bond encompasses. Now let me break it down to you. You can see here, this is how the bond issue breaks down by percent. The last time the Red Oak ISD held a bond issue was in 2007. That bond issue paid for Red Oak High School, a new elementary, now Shields, and renovations to existing facilities. It's been 8 years since the last tax increase. Our tax rate is $1.54 for every $100 of taxable value. There's basically 2 pots of money in this school district. This one right here, maintenance and operations. It pays for the daily operations, including gasoline, supplies, payroll, on and on and on. The M&O would be like your general checking account that you just buy groceries out of and operate your life. Interest and sinking. This is very similar to the account that you would make your house payment out of if you had a separate account. We don't put money from here and put it over there. They're two, it's called commingling. They're 2 separate funds. These 2 numbers $1.17 on the M&O side, which by law cannot be over $1.17, and the interest and sinking is 37 cents. We raised this one 13 cents to 50 cents, which would put us at $1.67 down here if the bond passes. Now let me cut the math. On a $100,000 home, if this bond were to pass, your taxes would increase $10.83 a month. What if you're over 65? Property taxes for homeowners that are 65 years of age and older will not increase if you have applied for the over 65 exemption, which means your taxes won't change. Let me go to a question that's frequently asked. What about Live Oak? Our long-range facilities plan calls for Live Oak to be used as our 6th elementary school when it's necessary, when growth requires. People say, well, why don't you sell that property and use it towards the bond? We are in an area of Ellis County that is appreciating in value almost daily in some cases. We have a district asset that can be used in the future. Live Oak has already been retrofitted as an elementary school, a Shields temporary location. If we were going to occupy it full-time as a school district, as a campus, we would have to do some extensive remodeling. Now, why didn't we have to at the tornado? Well, we received an emergency certificate of occupancy because of the situation, because the building codes were still in place. Fire suppression systems, all the things that have to happen to make that, by law, inhabitable, if you would. By comparison, it would cost more than $32.5 million to bring Live Oak up to code to be used as a middle school. 32.5 on a building built in '86. Since a new middle school would cost $44 million, the Growth Management Committee concluded that it was a better long-term use of resources to build new rather than repurpose a 31-year-old building. Currently, we use Live Oak for special events, Festival of Trees, back in December. We have staff development meetings in there, and we will continue to use it for special events, that is the plan, until something else is needed when we might need our 6th elementary campus. Another question that comes up, future plans for the current Cape building, bus bays to work on buses and police cars, and the possibility for DAEP expansion. We've done a terrific job repurposing our buildings. Original Wooden is now 6th grade center. Old high school is the Red Oak Middle School. Original Red Oak Elementary is now our Educational Service Center. Original high school, I'm talking original, is now Acorn Education Foundation and Tax Office. Original Shields Elementary, Little Hawks Learning Center. Have we just let buildings sit around with nothing happening? We have repurposed. We have not gone out and said, we need a whole brand new this or that. We've taken what we have, upgraded where we needed to. Election Day, May 6th, we have a website. Our website has a tab dedicated to the bond. Information, frequently asked questions, finances, presentations. You can get lots of information, and we want you to have that. It's a community vote. Please vote. What a privilege it is to vote. We want you to vote, and we want you to vote your conscience.